contact light. Okay, engine stop. ATA and a descent. Mode control. Apollo 11, Houston.
Exploration of the unknown. Reaching for untold heights. Conquering the seemingly impossible. These desires are written into the DNA of mankind. They drive us in our pursuit of all things worldly.
We have received clear to launch.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This one is a rocket and gone.
He's trying to hit that to the moon.
Forces us to innovate.
Blast, home run.
Challenges the body and the mind.
Minus 50. Start remote camera.
No matter how big the mission, achieving the impossible is within our reach.
Well, the roof is open for the second time this postseason. Glad to see it open. 72 degrees outside, 72 degrees inside, I guess. It's kind of the way it works. Delightful here in Houston, Texas on the 2nd of November. And the Atlanta Braves are getting set to go. A little different look at the top of their lineup here for Game 6. They've got Eddie Rosario batting first, but Soler bumps up to number 2. Trying for a little thump there with the top 3. Heck, Austin Riley, who's batting cleanup, leads the Braves in average in hits with his 8 hits. Batting 5th is Adam Duvall, who hit a grand slam in Game 5. Jock Peterson is in right. Ozzie Albies struggling down to the number 7 position. Travis d'Arnaud and Dansby Swanson batting 9th at short. Against the rookie right-hander, 24 years old from Bolivar of Venezuela, Luis Garcia.
Game of adjustments. He's looked at his film. He's ready to do the things that made him special, and that is that fastball, cutter, and breaking ball that he has. And in a game like this, he wants to give his manager less reasons to take him out and be on the attack.
Short rest, but plenty of time to rest after, at most, the next 2 nights. Home plate umpire is Mike Malinsky with Chris Conroy at first. Ron Kulpa at second. The crew chief is over at third, Tom Hallion. Dan Bellino is in left, and Ted Barrett is out in right. Pat Hoberg and Tim Timmons running the replay room, and away we go. It didn't look good for these Astros to get the World Series back home when they were down 3-1 and down 4-0 after one in Game 5. But they went to work, and here we are. A 9-5 win 2 nights ago. Eddie Rosario leads it off and takes a strike.
Fastball velocity has gone up since he's gotten in the postseason. You can understand that with the adrenaline. He's averaging about 93 miles an hour in the regular season. He's been up as high as 96 on average in particular games.
Nobody could figure out Rosario through the first 2 rounds of the postseason. Against the Astros, they've been a little tougher on him. That's strike 2. 5 for 18. But he has reached base 30 times this postseason.
Tonight's about quick outs, clean outs, pitchers not going deep into counts, putting away hitters when they have them in a 2-strike count.
Rosario hooks it into right and caught. Diving catch by Tucker in right. And we're underway in Game 6.
Well, for Tucker, this could have got, his arm was getting trapped, but he makes the play. Watch him roll on his arm right there. His right arm, his elbow gets caught underneath, but he makes a great catch. It would have been an easy double to start the night for the Braves.
And Jose Siri went running all the way over there to congratulate him. Luis Garcia, the pitcher, might have done the same if time would have allowed. 1 out, nobody on, and here is Soler, the DH. Jorge, 5 hits in this World Series. 2 of them have left the park.
He just circled the entire batter's box because he knew he missed the pitch he may not see again. They're trying to jam him in, and they're going to throw him cutters and curveballs away. And he had a chance to send that one a long way.
Strike 2.
Well, here's the velocity. You see the lines. Those are going to indicate the time you have for the hitter. And where it stops is where the regular season average velocity was. And where you're seeing at the plate is where the ALCS and the World Series starts of his velocity.
Career high in innings pitched as a pro. 0-2 is in the dirt.
Well, he did not make a good 2-strike pitch to Rosario, so he forced one in the ground to make sure he wasn't going to allow another line drive to be hit with 2 strikes.
2-2. One of the July additions for the Atlanta Braves. 27 home runs during the regular season between Kansas City and Atlanta. He's had some good swings in this World Series. That's down from 0-2 to 3-2.
So now where he threw that pitch down, if he wanted to throw a 3-2 slider over the middle of the plate down, then he's got a chance. But when you throw a fastball up and in and then sliders off the plate, that's why he got the count back to 3-2. But you see the first move that Soler makes on the ball down, he'll make that same move on a slider that's down in the strike zone that breaks off the plate if they decide to do that 3-2.
It's like Garcia's listening to you. 2 out.
It's all about pitch recognition and the last pitch. That's why pitchers, if they go up the last pitch, they got a chance with an aggressive hitter. See, that started down and he had no chance. He committed on a fastball that was down. That tells you he's aggressive and wants to hit the ball down. Good pitch selection, great pitch, and a strikeout.
Now Freddie Freeman, who slides back a slot. 5 for 18 in this World Series with that mammoth home run he hit 2 nights ago.
He should be aggressive early. Oh, man. He painted him down. If that ball was up a little bit, Freddie has been getting closer to getting his stroke locked in. He's had a kind of a streaky postseason, but they need him and the other 2 left-handers in this game to carry the load for the Braves.
Nothing in 2 on Freeman.
That's why you want to start out. Every hitter's gone 0-2. He's then on attack with a fastball, gets a 2-strike, less stress. Now you make another good pitch and you get out of the inning and set your offense up.
What a start for Garcia. Astros about to come to bat in the bottom of the 1st inning. Nothing but zeros in the top of the frame. Jose Altuve will lead off. Michael Brantley bats 2nd and left. Carlos Correa hits 3rd. Yordan Alvarez back at the DH spot. Yuli Gurriel at 1st. Kyle Tucker is in right. What a play he made to start the night. Alex Bregman batting 7th again. Jose Siri is in center. And Martin Maldonado, a big game 5. As big a reason why the Astros got this World Series back home as anybody. And here's the veteran left-hander compared to his counterpart tonight. Max Fried is excited to get back out there after his game 2 start. 5+ innings, 6 runs, 7 hits.
that's already a good sign for Max Fried. You know, his system got shocked a little bit. He was on such a roll, and the Dodgers and the Astros beat him up a little bit. His command in only was part of the reason why they were getting to him. He has to show that fastball and changeup away.
Ball's out.
Because now he'll move the eyes of the Astros. They're so good on the inner part of the plate that when he challenged them in and missed his spots, they took advantage of it. So an encouraging sign. Even though he's missed away, it'll open up in later in the game.
2-0 the count. And a ground ball left side from the hole. Swanson, base hit.
If he's aggressive in the zone, so are these hitters. Not a horrible pitch, but you got behind 2-0, and this guy, along with most of the right-handed hitters on this staff, on this club, they love the inside pitch. They're basically telling you we're better at what we control than what you can do as a pitcher, and the pitcher has to be able to change that narrative, and he has to be very good inside with that pitch.
Michael Brantley now. Leadoff infield hit by Altuve, and he draws a throw. Not much of a lead.
It's not a whole. It's not. You don't. If you're Max Fried, you don't come in this game and completely pitch backwards. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're not establishing your command and pitching up in the zone, you've got to show them you're willing to go away and throw some touch pitches out there, some backdoor curveballs, or even a changeup, just to plant that you're changing the way that you went about your last game.
Altuve's got about a one-step lead over at first base, but Fried has checked on him twice. He has one steal, Altuve does, in this World Series, 2 for 2 this postseason.
Brantley will be trying to get the hole between first and second. If he can get a pitch that's over the plate, that's what he's trying to do.
Ball one up and in. Darno's had a rough go behind the plate, throwing out potential base stealers, just 2 for 45. And he's committed a couple of errors in this World Series about bouncing it to second, and the ball ends up in center. Here's a 1-0. Good pitch, inside corner, ball and a strike.
But early on, because you want to be aggressive with your fastball, he's not hitting his spots. He's missing by a foot in the first pitch, and he missed by 6 inches. You got to get it in quadrants, because this team takes away one part of the plate. You got to prove to this team you can hit the other part of the plate more than just 50%.
Jam Brantley. Altuve will get to second and safe at first, and Fried is arguing that Brantley stepped on his leg, not on the bag, or that Fried got a part of the base. Right now it's 2 on, nobody out, and they're not going to challenge.
Well, that was a tough play, because watch what Fried does right here. Okay, he goes over, but running and not looking, trying to get to the bag, and he didn't look at Freddie early enough to get the ball. Ooh, man.
You know, he's got the ball there. I don't know that Altuve got the bag, did he?
Brantley didn't. And that's why
Brantley.
That's why I thought they could go over and tag him, that they never did. He never touched the bag.
And neither one of them touched the base. And it goes down as an error on Fried, and they're now out there checking on the ankle of the 27-year-old left-hander.
Well, we're gonna show this play one more time, and here's the mistake that Max makes. He puts his head down, running straight to the bag, and Freddie was ready to get him the ball early. If you get him the ball early, he has an opportunity to find the bag. So watch this play. They do this a million times in spring training. Okay, there's the play, but now he's not looking at all. He looks too late, and when you have to look that late, you can't find the bag. If he would have been looking at Freddie well before that, Freddie could have got him the ball on the run, and then that wouldn't have happened. Right now, he's got to look at Freddie and see. Freddie wanted to throw it to him, and he couldn't because he wasn't looking at him.
Well, thankfully, Freed's okay to continue with that right ankle getting stepped on.
And thankfully, those are rubber cleats. Rule that a hit, I guess, right?
No, they went E1. That's the call for now. Astros don't care. They have 2 on with nobody out. And Carlos Correa at the plate. Ball 1. An infield hit, then that chopper to the right side. Ball hasn't left the infield. And the Astros and their fans feeling good about the start of Game 6. 1-0 pitch. Good pitch. A ball and a strike.
When he falls down with his glove, he catches the bag, but for whatever reason the Braves did not challenge that play because they saw the angle where his foot didn't touch the bag and didn't have time to see that angle where the glove comes down on the bag.
Here's a 1-1 now. Strike 2. 2 good pitches to Correa from Fried.
See, that's the key pitch. Painting inside now opens up the plate for his hard slider if he wants to, but when you're catching the middle of the plate, then it doesn't have as much effect. When you've gotten that pitch and a hitter backs away, now you can have a little more success in off the plate with a breaking ball.
A strikeout for out number 1.
Perfectly done. When he didn't throw enough of these pitches against this great team inside. He was missing too far, and then he didn't paint. But when he can paint inside and start that on the same lane, then the great hitters become a little more mortal, and then that pitch right there becomes a lot more valuable.
Well, here's Yordan Alvarez, who's 1 for 16 in this World Series after dominating against the Red Sox in the ALCS. He was the MVP.
We talked with Dusty Baker, and he mentioned he was going to have a gentle conversation about how that happened last series and get back to the fundamentals on this series.
I thought it was interesting, Dusty saying early in this series the Braves were proving that they weren't going to give Alvarez anything to hit. Well, then that really took the aggressiveness away from Alvarez, and now he's got to get back to going after pitches as they're now coming after him.
Right, you get in between, and what his message to his hitters is, don't miss the one they give you, even if it's only one.
To the right side, the runners end up at second and third, 2 out. And Alvarez moves the runners up at 2 down and sets up Yuli Gurriel. No good contact yet against Fried, but he's still got to make big pitches to get around this.
This is what makes him tough. When Dusty moved his lineup and put this young man higher, this has worked in Game 5. We do have a base open.
The AL batting champ, Yuli Gurriel, second and third, 2 out. Strike 1. Our player resume sponsored by Indeed. 70 career postseason hits. 4th most all time by a first baseman with extra opportunities with more rounds. First player 37 years old or older to win a batting title since '04 when Barry Bonds did it. 0-1. Strike 2.
He's been really good in extending his fastball down. It has late life and it's exploding on the hitters. First inning stress for Max Fried. Now that pitch might have been down, but he got the call. So guess what that brings in? That brings in the slider down, and Dusty knew that might not have been a strike.
0-2 pitch.
Right there.
Wow, what a job by Max Fried. An infield hit, then that play at first. And he goes right through Correa, Alvarez, and Gurriel. Charged up, no score after 1 in Game 6. As Garcia pounds one up high to Austin Riley.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. Max Fried went to another level, and that level was that fastball at 97 miles an hour. And what a job.
And then the last pitch of the first inning, 98.4. That was the fastest pitch, the hardest pitch all year, regular season and postseason, for that young man, Max Fried, as he just went, as you said, up a notch.
Yeah, I mean, that first and second, nobody out is against this lineup. I'm sure we could come up with the probability of run scoring is pretty high, and he held them to 0.
Garcia brings it on 1-1. Good pitch to Riley. And Austin Riley, who leads the Atlanta Braves in hits and average this World Series. And he's hitting .295 for the postseason, is behind on the count 1-2. Strikeout number 3 and out number 1 here in the second for Garcia. Last week, the nation tripled Fox Bet Super 6's Stack the Cash jackpot, and 5 lucky winners split over $313,000. Download the free-to-play Super 6 app now for your chance to win and make the jackpot even bigger this week. Three consecutive strikeouts by the 24-year-old. As Garcia rocks home another, and that breaking ball is laid off by Duvall. Ball 1. Adam, 4 hits in this World Series. 2 have left the park, and he's coming off that thrill of a first-inning grand slam at home in Game 5. But the Braves got only 1 more run all night 2 nights ago and lost 9-5. 1 ball, no strikes. Garcia. That is Bregman with a backhand. Shows off the arm. Good play, 2 out.
Well, I mentioned this game's going to be a shorter game for each starter, but really shorter for Garcia. So his goal is to not let his manager feel like he needs to go to the pen any earlier than what the score indicates. So you play a 3-inning game, and he has had pretty much a stressless first 5 batters.
Nice play by Bregman. Here's Jock Peterson, 1 for 11 in the World Series. Started the year with the Cubs. Ends it wearing pearls for the Atlanta Braves.
And they've stayed away from giving Josh any fastballs to hit. They're going to curve him to death if they can, or they're going to climb the ladder. And he's got to look to hunt a fastball. And even if he only gets 1, the same old theory. They got the shift on him, and they know what he can do with a fastball and the power that he has.
Jock won a ring last year with the Dodgers, and he skies this one into shallow left. Brantley is there. Both pitchers appear to be on. An inning and a half in the books in Game 6. No score. Follow at MLB on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube during the World Series and all year long for your baseball content needs. Second inning, bottom half. Tucker first up.
Oh, what?
Takes the ball low from Fried, who really did some pitching in the first inning to get around the hit and the error. Tucker 6 for 18.
You know, when you don't have success, it's paranoia for every pitcher, but you go back, you look at your film, and then you look at everything you're doing, and you make sure you're not doing anything to give away a pitch. And when team has success for you in has success against you, sometimes you might be doing something that tips a pitch. That's the #1 paranoia for a pitcher.
Breaking ball had Tucker frozen straight 2.
And whatever he did after getting roughed up early, he was able to get in a nice groove in that middle part before he ultimately got taken out. Yes, 5 runs were given up. But I'm just telling you the checklist of what you go through when a couple teams have had success off of you like they did in the playoffs.
Here's one over the head of Fried. One play by Swanson with a bare hand for the out. And we've seen a couple of good defensive plays, one on each side. Tucker for the Astros, and now Swanson robs him of an infield hit.
Yeah, huge play. You know, the one thing the Astros have done when they're successful is they get their leadoff hitter on. This almost was another leadoff hitter. They score a high percentage of their runs in the postseason when leadoff batters get on, and that was a stress throw and play by Swanson.
Bregman's coming up. Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, Alex Bregman says he's been dealing with a really weak top hand, so he's been working in batting practice on a two-handed finish to his swing. Got better results the last game, though he was still releasing at times. It's natural. But today, after more work yesterday, he told me this was the best batting practice he has had all season. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if it carries over. Batting with 1 out, nobody on in the second. Fouls it right side, and that ball is caught for out number 2. As Jock Peterson went right to the line and had about maybe half a step more to go and made the grab. 2 down.
It's just a little wind blowing out to the left field, so maybe this ball blew back just a little bit. It looked like it was fading into the stands, and you could see it came back just enough to be an out. Of course, with the stadium open, it's not a big wind, but the wind is blowing out to left field what little the flags are moving.
Rookie center fielder Jose Siri fouls it straight back, strike 1. 1 for 4 in this World Series. 46 at bats in the big leagues with Houston at the end of the year, and hit .304 and 4 home runs. Siri had a hit in his Game 2 start against Fried. And now he flies one into left. Easy for Rosario. No score through 2. Ozzie Albies coming up. The number 7 hitter now for Atlanta. Game 6. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. And by New Balance, we got now. Both pitchers have been on through the first 2. 3rd inning rolls in. Braves looking for their first base runner. Luis Garcia struck out 3. Albies, d'Arnaud, Swanson, bottom 3 in the lineup.
Albies has got to be a little bit better. He's been in a funk, swinging in the first pitch almost every at bat. You see the average is down. He's the spark, just like Altuve is. He's a spark for the Atlanta Braves.
That drops in for strike 1. Braves are 4-0 after a loss this postseason. Trying to bounce back after that 9-5 loss in Atlanta 2 nights ago. Here comes the 0-1.
He's been late and he's been in between, and when that happens as a hitter, you need a real big mistake in the middle of the plate. Fastballs are beating him above and breaking balls down below, but you can see where he's trying to get to that ball with the bigger swing, just getting underneath it.
Line drive, base hit into right center field. Gets it between Correa and Altuve. And Atlanta has their first base runner as Albies has moved down in the order, and he's on to start the 3rd.
Boy, did he get a mistake right here. I mean, that's right down the middle. And you could see he didn't have the full swing, but he had enough to just say, I'm going to flick it right there. Not the pitch you want to a guy who's struggling. because you never know if that turns him around.
Travis d'Arnaud will stand in. More World Series hits for Travis than the first 2 rounds combined. And his 2 postseason home runs have come in this World Series. Albies has the only stolen base. There's been 1 for Atlanta in this World Series.
And I would think the Braves need to be a little aggressive if they get a chance, because this is the one guy that can make things happen on the base pass. Now he's trying to time him. He'll give the hitter better pitches to hit just being there, but you'd want to steal a base at some point in this inning.
That's hooked foul. End of a long year for these guys. Back to the full 162 games. Although Atlanta played 161 during the course of the regular season as they won the division by 6.5 over Philly. But for these catchers who are right next to each other right now, a lot of work. And d'Arnaud spent 3 months rehabbing a torn thumb ligament in his left hand. Braves had to use 7 different catchers to get them through the season, but it has been all d'Arnaud in the postseason. One pitch is fouled away. Strike 2.
That's where they want to throw him. The outs are off the plate. He's good middle and middle in off the plate, but now that he's gotten him to swing away, he can chase a slider on the outside part of the plate.
Off the end of the bat into right center field, and easy for Siri. 1 on, 1 out.
Albies was going and he just stumbled, and so they were thinking the same thing. They'd probably get a breaking ball. That's a good pitch to steal on, but he never could quite get his jump that he wanted. He was leaning and ready to go, and right there it was too late. He'd shifted his weight.
Here's Swanson, the number 9 hitter, with Rosario next. Good play to rob Tucker of an infield hit in the bottom of the 2nd, and a check as it's smothered by Gurriel in the dirt.
Really, when you're a right-handed pitcher, you're rarely going to pick anybody off. But what you're trying to do is mess the timing of the runner who potentially wants to steal. You do that in a variety of ways. You change your timings to home. You come to set, 1,001, 1,002, then you go. Next time you come to set, count to 3 or 4, and then you go, and just try to change your timing.
And then deliver a nasty pitch. Strike 1.
Most throws over to first from a right-handed pitcher are predetermined. So you know when you come to set, you're going to throw over there already.
Albies draws a throw. He was leaning again.
You see, the way he comes to set with his feet kind of close together, it's going to be hard to pick somebody off that way. But you know he can dance. Just look at his windup. So his feet are probably quick enough to do the throw over.
There he goes. And a fly ball into left field. Back at the wall. Caught by Brantley. And Albies back to the bag. 2 out. The fans here at Minute Maid held their breath when that ball left the bat. But it got to the track and died. 2 out.
Well, he got a great jump, but it really didn't matter because Swanson hit the ball. So at that point now he's got to make sure that if you round the base or take a step towards third, you got to remember to get the. You'd be surprised how many people forget to touch the base on the way back.
Swanson just missed it. Hit 27 home runs during the regular season. Rosario now lined out to right. Diving catch by Tucker back in the first. Takes the ball. Signed a 1-year deal with Cleveland. Picked up from Cleveland in July. Rehabbing an oblique injury. Cost him another month. And he hasn't stopped hitting since putting on an Atlanta uniform and getting into ball games.
Well, the Braves have been pretty aggressive first time through the lineup. They've swung at 19 of 29 pitches from Garcia. So the plan was to be on attack for that fastball and not let him get too many secondary pitches on you, because their secondary pitches, he's wicked. He doesn't give up many hits.
Albies stays put. And a ball. This is low to Rosario. Rosario pitch count in his favor, and now that's down and in. 3-0. As he looks down at Ron Washington, his third base coach, with Soler on deck. Took the Texas Rangers to the World Series twice. Ron Washington. What's it going to be on 3-0 with a runner at first? Albies 2 out.
Trio changeup and a dandy that faded away. Put a little doubt in the hitter's mind, thinking you're going to challenge him, and the probability wasn't there, but it's too late because the hitter thinks that ball's a fastball and comes out like a changeup.
Well, you know Rosario wants to hit anyway.
Yeah.
He wants no part of a walk. The 3-1 runner goes on ball 4. So a leadoff hit, now a 2-out walk, and the batter will be Soler here in the third. And Maldonado and Correa surround Garcia. And here comes Brent Strom, who felt left out of the party.
Yeah, the bullpen's going. Left-hander probably getting ready for Freddie Freeman. Said it would be a short leash. And if you're starting this game, you know that going in. You just want to be as clean as possible and not create any stress.
The big DH, Jorge Soler, who struck out his first time up. Started out game 1 on a 2-0 pitch and blasted one into the seats and left. And then game 4, he got Javier to put the Braves on top for good.
Well, you saw the hot and cold zone. There's a lot more cold zone there than the hot zone, and he's looking for something in the middle of the plate to drive. I felt like he missed his 2 pitches the first time through. Had some great swings on fastballs, and not so sure he's going to get too many of those, but those are the ones you can't miss. Worked the count to 3-2, but then struck out.
Was hitting 192 with Kansas City when the deal was made to bring him to Atlanta. Turned it on with the Braves. What a chance for Soler and Atlanta. Ball 1, nowhere close. So Rayleigh getting ready with the lefty Freeman on deck. Right now a battle between Garcia and Soler.
There's that cutter. For Luis Garcia, he gets a high probability of strikeouts coming into the year. 60 out of the 167 have come on that cutter. That's the 3rd highest in baseball. It's the pitch he goes to when he needs to miss the barrels.
Right-handers hit under 190 against Garcia. Soler trying to figure him out. 1-1.
No.
Fifth start this postseason for Luis Garcia. 1-2 record over his first 4 starts, but his last 2, 9 1/3, 1 earned run. 13 strikeouts, 5 walks coming in. His game 6 was a gem in the ALCS, a 5-0 win. Didn't give up his first hit till the 6th. 2-1.
No.
Checked it. 3-1.
Good job by Soler to check. Big strong swing that he kept behind the plate. But the pitch that Garcia wanted to throw, he executed. He just didn't get the swing.
Three balls and a strike. Soler. What a pitch. Full count.
That was a great pitch. You're tempted here after so many breaking balls to try and speed him up on a fastball up in the zone to get him to swing over the top of it, because he's seen a lot of these now in this at bat. This is going to be his last pitch if he doesn't get him out. I think just as how hot the left-hander's been getting up and ready maybe for Freddie Freeman. So what's it going to be?
Runners will go on a 3-2 pitch. Garcia, Soler, foul.
And the reason I said fastball there, because he's starting to time that, right? He's seen that kind of break over and over again, and just got out in front of that one to hook it foul.
Another foul.
And see, that was the pitch he needed to get up. He threw it down right in the spot that Soler likes. He could get the barrel of the bat to it. You saw the target was up, but he threw it down. Right pitch, just wrong location.
So Christian Javier now, the right-hander, has joined Brooks Raley in the bullpen for Houston. Garcia trying to hang in this game and trying to keep it scoreless here in the third inning of Game 6. Soler with a monster blast into left, and the Braves lead 3-0 here in the third.
Too many breaking balls, Joe. He was timing them up, and he got one that not even the train tracks could hold.
Jorge Soler. The guy who hit 48 home runs 2 seasons ago. What a pickup he's been for this Atlanta team.
I want to show you why pitch sequence and location are so important. He had seen a bunch of breaking balls. Look where he wanted this fastball. That was the right pitch, but look where he threw it. So he threw it down. Okay, no big deal. He fouled it off, but his eyes were down, and he had seen about 6 breaking balls. Because that fastball was down, it's set up for this monster blast. And pitch sequencing and location, so important. If you don't hit your spot, the hitter will show you where to get him out, but you got to make the pitch.
Here's Maldonado, strike 1 on Max Fried as he goes back to work now up 3-0. Braves say, all right, lefty, go win the World Series.
Well, it's a little different scenario now. They jumped on the Astros last game 4-0, but they didn't really have a starter in the game. They've got a starter in the game in Max Fried. He knows how to make that stand up. And you're right. Now it's up to him.
0-1 pitch outside. I mean, we've all become so accustomed to just looking out in the bullpen and waiting for pitching changes and waiting for pitching changes. That's not the kind of night that Brian Snitker wants with Fried on the mound, but he will not hesitate at the sign of any trouble in the middle innings to go to those shutdown lefties or the right-hander Jackson.
Right, but the key would be if he could get 6, because then you've got 3 lefties to pitch 1 inning each. And the score and, of course, how Max is doing will indicate whether that's shorter or not.
2-1 pitch here is down, and the count 3-1. Maldonado.
Now, the one thing that every pitcher, not every pitcher gets to be in this situation, right? You got an elimination game if you win. You've been given that 3-run lead that you don't even think you're going to get because you're trying to focus on a 0-0 game.
Maldonado is on with a leadoff base hit. All of a sudden alive and well at the plate is Martin Maldonado on to start the third.
To finish that thought, I had to learn in Game 7 when I was given the 3-0 lead to let my anxiousness go away, because I got anxious. It's like 3-0. Now we're going to win. Now you're thinking about winning. You got to continue to pitch. And I know that Max will do that, but to the point where you need as many clean innings. You don't want this team to jump back in it at all.
Well, they can do it in a hurry.
Yes, they can.
The Rally Nuns are getting up into their spot. And they want to see something big out of their second baseman. Strike one. He's done it many times. The Astros have hit 2 home runs during this series, and he has both of them. 23 in his career during the postseason. Infield hit his first time up. Altuve got under it. 1 on, 1 out. Maldonado stays put, and a big out there for Fried. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
That was that changeup that we don't see very often, but that's a key pitch tonight. A few changeups against right-handers and a few fastballs away against right-handers, just to kind of alter the game plan that these Astros hitters, they take strengths away from a pitcher.
Brantley reached on the error by Fried in the first. So 0 for 1, 6 for 21 in this World Series with Correa next. Back to Fried, to second for the out, on to first. Got them both. And a 1-6-3 double play turned by Fried and Swanson. We're into the 4th inning of Game 6 here in Houston. Braves on top, 3-0. T-Mobile, the leader in 5G coverage, wants to send you on the baseball road trip of a lifetime. Win tickets to all 30 MLB ballparks and an RV to get you there. Just text road trip to 595959. A 446-foot home run over the train tracks last inning by Jorge Soler, and the Braves lead 3-0 in Game 6. Oh. And as Christian Javier pours one in for strike one to Austin Riley. Riley went 1/3 of an inning through 1 pitch and got Freeman to ground out. Garcia started, went 2 2/3, 3 runs on 2 hits. Strike 2.
Well, if the Braves learned anything like they did last year, being down 3-1 against the Dodgers, they had that same scenario play out, and they were able to finish off the Dodgers this year. They learned that 4-0 in the first inning is not enough runs against the Astros. So offensively, you have to keep clicking in and make good swings and create pressure.
Austin Riley struck out his first time and now takes outside to even the count 2-2. Three, 4, 5 hitters will bat for the Astros in the bottom of this 4th. Here's a 2-2 from Javier, and struck him out on a breaking ball. Riley 0 for 2, 1 away.
That's one of those rare breaking balls that tie you up. It started inside. His first move is kind of open up his hips, and he couldn't get the bat to the barrel. That's not the way you normally strike somebody out with that pitch, but his break was good enough.
Brings in Adam Duvall. Big power year for Duvall. Good breaking ball from Javier. The Braves now have 21 World Series runs scored. 15 of those runs via the home run. They've hit 9. The Astros 2 solo shots by Altuve. That's it. That is left side foul ball out of play. Strike 2. There are home runs, and then there are home runs. That one that Soler hit just made this place, the whole atmosphere inside this stadium change.
Yeah, first 3 innings, I said, was very important because of the strategy of the bullpens and how you're going to use your arms. Now Dusty's got to use arms just to keep it close, hope his offense scores. Braves have a little more luxury, of course, being up 1 game.
Into right center. Siri to his left. 2 out. Does that home run remind you of this? Brad Lidge, game 5, Pujols, number 5. And only because those back windows are closed did that thing stay in the park. Roof is open, and on to the street it went. Pujols' home run was 455. Soler's home run 446. But different circumstances. Obviously, the Astros ended up in the World Series in '05. Lost to the White Sox. Soler has pounded 3 home runs. Good pitch from Javier to Jock Peterson. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And we showed you earlier, I mean, the hot and cold zones, there was blue all over the strike zones except for right down the middle. You can put that flaming hot now for Soler because he's gotten his home runs right in that spot.
Strike 2 on Peterson. 1 for 12 in this World Series. With 2 down.
Oh, no.
Peterson lays off. Peterson strikes out. Quick and easy inning. Good pitching by Javier. Carlos Correa coming up to lead it off for the Astros. Bottom of the 4th inning with his team down 3. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Steal a Base, Steal a Taco only at Taco Bell. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. Max Fried heads back to work. Bottom of the 4th inning. 3, 4, 5 hitters for Houston. Strike 1 to Correa.
Well, the Astros have to win the next 3 innings. The Braves won the first 3 innings, and if the Astros can get back in this game, the next 3 innings are going to be crucial. Because waiting in the bullpen are some fresh arms, and they happen to all be left-handed, with the exception of Luke Jackson.
Talking about A.J. Minter, Tyler Matzik, Luke Jackson. The closer is the lefty Will Smith. Here is a 1-1 from Fried on the way. Max Fried got into a 2-on nobody out jam in the 1st inning. Struck out Correa, who's at the plate now. Got Alvarez on a chopper to 2nd and struck out Gurriel on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Correa grounds to 3rd, foul. And really since then he's been in charge. Allowed the leadoff hit to Maldonado last inning, but got Brantley to bounce into a double play.
Well, he's done all the things that you look for in making changes. Now the hitters for the Astros are going to have to adjust because he isn't stuck in one lane. He's shown the changeup. He hasn't really thrown the backdoor curveball or the big curveball as much. He's used more of a slider fastball attack mode. The first time he faced him, his 4-seam fastball, he had thrown it only 24% of the time in game 2, way up in this game.
Here's a 1-2. Well, you talk about 3 or more runs of support for Fried. 39 and 3 His career record 15-1 this season. There's a 2-2 now. Correa broke his bat. Little flare into right center field that will drop. And Alvarez will be the hitter. And we'll send it down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, Joe, I thought in that Game 2 start, Max Fried went away from his fastball really too soon. As John mentioned, 24% fastballs. That's the second lowest in any start in his career. How about tonight? Max Fried comes out through the first 3 innings throwing 75% fastballs. He has established that, now can get to his secondary. And you mentioned the pitch to Gurriel, not just his fastest this year, the 3rd fastest out of more than 4,000 in his career.
Alvarez grounds one to Albies. The flip out over to first. They got them both. Back-to-back innings, turning a double play. And this one goes 4-6-3, 2 out, nobody on.
They don't get this double play if it doesn't hit the mound, I don't believe. And the mound kicks it back towards Albies. Watch this, right up the mound. See it kick it, and then slowed it down and let Albies get to it. So the mound, where Fried is doing his work, also helped on this ground ball, making it a much easier play to turn 2.
Swanson has 2 errors in this World Series, but his manager, Brian Snitker, was stunned that he was not a finalist for the Gold Glove Award at shortstop. Here's one right side. Albies to his left. What a job by Max Fried. Gives up the blue pit to start the inning, gets a double play and a ground out on the next pitch. These guys up the middle turned it beautifully. 3-0 still back after this from your local Fox station. Play Ball is baseball and softball's initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play the game for all. Find a league near you. Go to playball.org and follow @playball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Strike one to Ozzie Albies. Talked about the lineup changes that Dusty Baker made before game number 5. They paid off. Brian Snitker moving Albies out of the number 3 spot to 7th. And he started that 3-run rally in the 3rd inning with a base hit into right center. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And has already come into this game more patient. And I think, you know, you make those adjustments and talk and walk through your. But it's hard sometimes. You get in these moments and you tell yourself you're going to do one thing, and then all of a sudden you get to the box and you swing. It's because that's what he really does during the year.
Well,
Javier misses high, 2-1.
I played with guys that left the dugout saying, I'm taking the first pitch, and got in the box and swung up. They just couldn't make that connection.
2-1 here is chopped foul. Starter for the Astros couldn't get through 3. Garcia on short rest. Rayleigh, now Javier, and a foul out of play left side.
This series really did turn on missed opportunities for the Astros in that game where they left 11 or 12 on base, and the Braves were able to come back and win that close game. And knowing that they had in game 4, knowing that they had game 5 still filled with relievers, and that's where Houston turned it around after being down. And this series is going to be dissected, you know, no matter how many games it goes, it's going to be dissected from the standpoint of, I guess some of the focus will be starting pitching not going deep enough for the team that doesn't win.
A leadoff walk puts Albies on base. We'll bring in d'Arnaud and give us a chance to tell you this week on Thursday Night Football. Carson Wentz, Jonathan Taylor lead the Colts against the Jets. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. First man to reach here against Christian Javier, and here's d'Arnaud.
The Jets shocked the world this weekend.
The legend of Mike White. I'm anxious to watch that game, actually. There's a strike. No! Excited to see how he plays. And then Carson Wentz has to bounce back from a couple of interceptions. I believe he'd gone 5 straight games without any interceptions, and then 2 in the loss to Tennessee on Sunday, and an overtime loss at that. Nothing in 1. The count on d'Arnaud. Fly to center his first time. There is activity in the bullpen for Houston. The lefty Blake Taylor. Seldom used. d'Arnaud couldn't hold up. Strike 2.
Albies, are we looking for a count or a situation to once again try to steal second base up 3-0? This is when you put pressure on the other team. This is when you get aggressive, in my opinion, when you have this kind of base stealer and this kind of speed on the bases.
Third ball read.
1-2 pitch. That gets past Maldonado, back to the screen, and Albies down to second with nobody out. Wild pitch from the right-hander Javier.
I heard first base coach dirt ball read, meaning spiked breaking ball. Look for it in the dirt. I don't think they anticipated a fastball that was going to go over the glove of Maldonado to the backstop, but either way they'll take it.
Two and two, the count on d'Arnaud. Swanson next, and then the lefty Rosario. That's why Taylor's up. Here it is. RBI chance for d'Arnaud. Javier brings it and strikes him out.
This one, he got the four-seamer by him and a big strikeout with Albies at second base. You know, we talk about starters and 3 times through the lineup, right? That's what everyone's trying to avoid. But what we forget in a World Series or a series, relievers have had the same scenario thrown on them. When you face somebody for the 3rd time in this series, relievers, the average goes way up. 174 in the first, 120 or 227 when you face that same guy the second time, and then 381. So it's not just confined to starters. This series is going to be one where you're going to see the same guy a lot, and the advantage goes to the hitter.
Runner at second, 1 out, 1-0 pitch. Swanson takes ball 2. Rosario sneaks a peek into the Houston dugout, wondering if the lefty is getting ready for him. Most likely Blake Taylor.
And that's why it may seem trivial, and they're like, well, what's the difference if a starter went 1 more inning? It's huge. You back everybody up. You don't have to get into that scenario from the very beginning of the series. And this series for the Astros started off very slowly, in their starting rotation, and it really hasn't picked up. Even as great of a game that Greinke pitched, he only went 4 innings.
2-0 breaking ball for a strike. Well, the 2 starting pitchers combined in games 1, 4, and 5 for less than 5 total innings.
Yeah, I mean, that just, it's hard to sustain that and ask your studs in the bullpen to just keep being that perfect. It's just too much to ask.
2-1 pitch here, and same result.
I mean, the Astros have seen Minter more than they've seen any starter.
No doubt. And they'll see him tonight. Here comes a 2-2 pitch from Javier. Foul back. In the postseason, if you go back to 2015, the percentage of starts that have lasted less than 5 innings were up to 60%. And 7 of the 10 starts in the World Series to this point.
And that trend, I don't think anyone would argue, needs to get better. It needs to start going back the other way.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Christian Javier brings it. There it goes. Swanson touches one off. 5-0 Atlanta here in the 5th. Second home run of this World Series, and there was nothing cheap about it. Crunched. And the first overall pick in 2015 traded to the Atlanta Braves. Delivers in the center of the stage when it matters the most. 5-0 here in the 5th. Pitching change, Houston. Dansby Swanson gets Christian Javier for the 2nd time in this World Series.
Yeah, faced him 3 times, had a walk, homer in game 4 in the 7th, now homer game 6 in the 5th.
Last 12 runs for the Braves via the home run ball. And they've touched 2 off tonight. The 3-run shot by Soler, who's on deck. And the 2-run shot by Swanson that chases Javier. 0-1 pitch to Rosario from the lefty Taylor. Misses up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rosario drew the walk in front of the 3-run home run by Soler against Luis Garcia back in the 3rd. One. Strike 2.
He said, "Oh no."
Is that so? 1 out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rosario back to Taylor. 2 out. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Last time Jorge Soler was up and out it went. 446 feet. And when he hits them, they fly far. More distance with his home runs this year than any other player across baseball. And that's inside. He also ties 3 other Braves hitters with his 3 home runs in the World Series. No Brave player has ever hit more than 3. Here's what he's done. Game 1 leading off in the first inning on a 2-0 pitch. Atlanta won. Game 4 the go-ahead pinch hit home run in the 7th after the Swanson homer off Javier, and now the 3-run blast here in the 3rd inning of Game 6 for the first runs of the night.
Come on, Grant.
3 pitches inside, and they count 3-0. Ryan Klesko hit 3 home runs in the '95 World Series. Lonnie Smith 3 in 1991. And Hank Aaron hit 3 in '57. The Milwaukee Braves. That's ball 4. And let's check in with Tom Verducci.
Well, Joe, when Alex Anthopoulos traded for Jorge Soler, he told manager Brian Snitker, I got you a right-handed bat off the bench. Hitting coach Kevin Seitzer immediately pulled up some recent videos from Kansas City. Was so impressed by Soler, he ran out of the room and grabbed bench coach Walt Weiss and said, Walt, you got to take a look at this. They then went back and went into Brian Snitker's office and said, Brian, this guy is much more than a right-handed bat off the bench. We need to talk to Alex.
Here's Freeman. Pitch outside, ball 1. And the reports they got from the staff in Kansas City was he's right now in a good position. So, yeah, the average is under 200. But you're getting more than just a matchup guy.
Timing has been everything, and the timing for the Atlanta Braves and all those moves.
Freeman hits it foul left side down the line and out of play. Freddie Freeman 0 for 2 tonight.
As great as all those moves were, and they were fantastic. Got a little lucky in some of those, but that's what you got to do. It was Freddie Freeman and what the infield did. But you look at these guys contributing in spurts, like week here carrying the team, a week here carrying the team, and they got it in position, got hot together, and I'm sure they felt unbeatable.
That bottom line, the 12 home runs by those in-season acquisitions, the most in any one postseason for any team. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Freeman takes upstairs for ball 3. 3-1. Riley on deck. 3-1 pitch here. Flied into left center field, well hit. Back at the track, it's off the wall. Soler digging around third. Here he comes. It's 6-0 Atlanta as Freddie Freeman delivers here in the 5th.
There's that guy. Well, that guy hit one of the biggest home runs in the history of the postseason off of Hader in Milwaukee just to get to this position. His style of hitting is so unique, and that's why he can hit with power to every part of the park. And there's that unique left field where really outfielders have no chance because of the way it is. They got to either catch it beforehand or wait for the carom.
And Soler scored all the way from first to make it 6-0. And chase the left-hander Blake Taylor. Maton is coming in for the Astros as they trail by 6. Freddie Freeman has been the rock at first base for the Atlanta Braves as Maton takes over and fires a strike to Austin Riley. Freeman out at second base right now. What an impressive postseason it's been for Phil Maton. And what a career it's been for Freddie Freeman, the free agent to be the Atlanta Braves. Here's the 0-1 from Maton. It's on the outside corner, 0-2.
He's been outstanding at executing what is his strengths and throwing the ball up and spinning a breaking ball out of that lower three-quarter angle and beating a lot of these hitters in the postseason with the ball up.
Riley waits and takes.
Oh, no.
Five pitchers tonight already for Houston. We're in the 5th. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Outside.
Off the end of the bat into right center field. Back to grab it is Siri. Well, went a long way, but it's out number 3 in the top of the 5th. Couple of home runs and an RBI double by Freddie Freeman. 3 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th, and leading by 6 in Game 6. These two combined to knock home 3 in the top of this 5th inning, and it's getting late early for the Astros. Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Jose Siri against Max Fried, and he is just dealing. Strike 1 on Tucker.
Yeah, safe to say the most important inning for both clubs right here, for Fried to put a 0 up after another 3 runs and a long wait in between innings. And the Astros have to check in. They've got to get a run or 2 in this inning.
Just 3 singles tonight, and 2 of those base runners were erased on double play balls. That skips in.
I got you.
Ball 1 on Tucker.
But Max Fried, after that first inning, kind of scary, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Again, these Astros, when they're in a position to put a crooked number on the board, they do it. And they weren't able to score in that first inning. And you felt like he got rejuvenated and he started maxing out a little bit his fastball velocity.
How about that? A strikeout starts the 5th, and that's 3 strikeouts for the lefty Fried, who is cruising. The game summary: Max Fried now 4 1/3, no runs, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, no walks. Soler, 3 go-ahead home runs in this series. What a pickup. And then their shortstop has come of age here in 2021. His 2nd home run of this World Series, a 2-run shot in this 5th. Here's Bregman 0 for 1. Out in front of that pitch, strike 1.
And see, that's what you've established if you're Max Fried. Now you can start spinning some breaking balls. Now you can start turning the hitters around in his philosophy. Sure, it's easier to pitch with the lead. Every pitcher will tell you that. But it's much easier to pitch after you've pounded fastballs for strikes. And he's done a much better job of mixing in that changeup. Sometimes you have a game where you just don't have the feel for those secondary pitches, or you don't have the feel for command of your fastball, and you have to adjust accordingly. And he's done a nice job switching those percentages from one game to the next.
And he's easily one of the best pitchers in the National League,
yes,
if not Major League Baseball in general. He was a 7th overall pick by San Diego in 2012. Went to Atlanta in the Justin Upton deal in December of 2014. Came up in 2018. The next year won 17 games. Last year won 7-0 in the shortened season, making his 9th career postseason start, and no more important start in the young, exciting career of Max Fried than tonight. Here is a 3-2 now. And struck him out looking. Bregman didn't agree, and Fried continues his clinic.
Well, this is his plate. This is where he likes it, and probably got a call on the bottom part of the zone. When Jacob deGrom broke into the game, he had an arm side fastball, which is the same side we call Max Fried a glove side fastball, because he's throwing it to where his glove hand is. Nobody dominated inside better than Jacob deGrom. And the point I'm making is the reason he's the best pitcher in baseball is he learned how to pitch on the other side of the plate over time. That's the progression for Max Fried. He dominates in glove side. When he can start throwing enough pitches on the outside part of the plate, he will start dominating.
He's got a 1-2-3 inning. If Peterson puts it away, and he does. And just 52 pitches so far through 5 shutout innings, leading by 6 here in Game 6. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Lincoln and the power of Sanctuary. And by Tide. Turn to cold water washing with Tide. $6-0 game after 5. Braves bat. Maton back to the hill. And Duvall works it home. Or Duvall fouls it away off to the right, strike one. Peterson and Albies the next 2. If anybody gets on d'Arnaud. Maton has been sensational. Came on last inning and finished off the top of the 5th. But his stuff is sneaky good.
Sure is, and he hasn't made many mistakes, and that's why he's got the success he's had for this team, really getting over from Cleveland and creating a different angle out of their bullpen.
These 2 general managers are proving how important in-season acquisitions can be. Teams that just stand pat, don't want to add payroll, don't want to give up some prospects. These 2 teams were not scared of that. Now, for Atlanta, they didn't add a ton of payroll. Less than $10 million, didn't give up any of their big prospects to get the 4 outfielders that they got in July. And for Houston, they were willing to give up some talent to add 3 big arms to their bullpen. And here they are, both teams in the World Series. 2-1 pitch here. 2-2.
Well, Houston's been unbelievable. I mean, they still have time to come back and show that they can do that, but their dominance over the last 5 years is well documented from a core players that might be -1. Correa, more than likely, he'll be a free agent, but they'll get healthier and probably be right in the mix again. I think Atlanta gets better when they get their healthier pitchers back, and they've got a good base for already setting up the following year. You look at the last couple of years, and I don't put much stock in it, but when they do the predicting of how many wins a team's going to win, they predicted 78 for the Braves this year. 78. The PECOTA ratings or projections.
Well, they've been through a lot, that's for sure. 2-2 pitch is down and away, a full count. They lost him, one of the best players in the game, Ronald Acuna Jr., on the 10th of July, right before the All-Star game, and he thought, okay, check them off, they're done. Not so fast. 2 other big pieces not available as well. That's off the end of the bat. Nobody's over there for Houston, and a base hit to start the 6th. Duvall gets his 5th hit of this World Series. Wasn't pretty, but he'll take it. You know, they thought Mike Soroka is the right-handed complement to what we're seeing out of Max Fried, but he's lost 2 years because of Achilles tendon issues. And then Marcell Ozuna, who was placed on administrative leave by MLB after a May arrest for domestic violence charges, and he was their top home run and run producer last year, and so the hits just kept coming. and they kept trying to fill holes. And they did a heck of a job in season in the month of July, and now they're leading 6-0 in Game 6 and up 3-2 in the World Series.
And let's face it, the division didn't run away from them. So it allowed Alex to make the moves. It allowed Brian Snitker to not get carried away. I remember doing a game in the first half, and he said, you know, I don't even look at the standings till after the All-Star break. And there's some truth to that with Brian, and he means it, because so many things can happen. In the second half, a lot of things happened.
Well, they became this year the 4th team ever to reach the World Series after having a losing record at the All-Star break. 64 Cardinals, 73 Mets, 91 Braves.
Yeah, I remember that team.
Peterson now flies one into right, got under it, and Tucker is back to grab it. But it's been that steady hand in the corner of the dugout in Brian Snitker, who is in his 45th year in the Braves organization, his 5th full year as manager, and finally got a chance. He'd been demoted within the organization a couple of times. Finally got a chance to manage in the big leagues at the age of 60, at a time where it seems like organizations are looking for the latest model on the floor and somebody young and analytically minded. They went with the old school guy, as Albies gets a base hit into right, and Snitker has blended the analytics with that old school baseball feel after learning from one of the best ever in Bobby Cox. Played 4 seasons in the Braves minor league system in the late 70s. Began his coaching career in '81. Was up with the Braves a couple of different times, then became the interim manager in 2016, taking over for Freddie Gonzalez, and then they've won 4 straight division titles. He's in his 5th full year, and he's got his team in great position to win the 2nd World Championship since the Braves moved to Atlanta in 1966. 2 on, 1 out for Travis d'Arnaud. Maton gets it by him. And if you ask Brian Snitker about his wife Ronnie, who's been there with him the entire ride, he told us she's everything. She allowed me to go do this, and there were 16 straight years that he left in February and didn't come home until September, and Ronnie handled everything. So that's a partnership between Brian and Ronnie that has Mr. Snitker in a really good spot here tonight in Houston.
Yeah, and he doesn't change emotions. You know, even when they hit the grand slam in Game 5, he didn't really get caught up in it. And he looks like he hasn't gotten caught up, because he's always thinking about scenarios, as a manager should, of how to finish that 27th out.
Well, the other manager to win it all was the manager that you so love, in Bobby Cox. And there's so much love from the Snitker family toward Bobby Cox.
No doubt. And means the world to Brian Snitker and to all who played under him.
d'Arnaud fouls it out of play, right side, strike 2. These are 2 managers. One of them's going to lose in this World Series. And if you know either one of them, you root for them.
Yep.
They're 2 great baseball people. They're 2 great people. And Dusty Baker managing in his first World Series since '02, when his Giants lost in 7 to the Angels. Getting another chance at it here in 2021 as d'Arnaud strikes out. 2 out. And the batter will be Swanson. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, you heard how emotional Dansby Swanson was in his post-game interview the other night. He is a local kid in Atlanta. He is from Marietta, Georgia, not far from Truist Park in Cobb County. And remember, you mentioned that he was the #1 pick overall in 2015. That trade to the Braves from the Diamondbacks was 6 months after he was taken #1. And at the time, there were a lot of expectations placed on him by the Braves. He was the poster child of their rebuild. It took him some time to get going. He was demoted in 2017, but in this World Series, he is helping his team, his hometown team, be on the verge of winning since the first time since 1995.
Yeah, it's a great story. He had that big home run the opposite way to tie Game 4 in the 7th inning in Atlanta. And then was cheering the loudest when Soler backed him up with a home run to take the lead. Breaking balls outside and the count 2-0. And in a year when Hank Aaron passed away in the month of January, his imprint all over this Braves organization and all over the professional baseball career of the man in the other dugout, Dusty Baker. 2-0 pitch. Hard hit, one hop. Correa has to go the long way, and boy, he's got a great arm. Bottom of the 6th inning, more big outs by Maton. 6-0 Atlanta. Astros have to get to work. Three-run shot by Soler, 2-run blast by Swanson, and an RBI double by Mr. Reliable Freddie Freeman, and it's 6-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, and Max Fried deals high, and if there was ever a time for the team that led baseball in average and runs per game, the Houston Astros, to get to work and figure out a starter, it's now.
Yep. But the formula for Brian Snitker, probably without saying it out loud, is he would love for Max to give him one more inning. And then you just steal outs from that point on, meaning you don't let him get in much trouble after that, and you go right to your pen.
There's a strike, 2-1.
But in this day and age where we're so quick to go to the bullpen, if he keeps doing this, there's no reason to get anybody up.
First pitch strikes. Only against Maldonado here has he not thrown a first pitch strike since that slow start. Now it's 2-2. It was 2-0, now 2-2. If he gets an out here in the 6th inning, it will be the longest outing by a starter in this World Series.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But when a guy's in rhythm and there's not really a lot of hard contact, there's no need to sweat. But it's so easy to pull guys out sooner than they're ready for, just because of numbers.
Two and two the count. Fried brings it. Come on here. And Maldonado spoils it.
I mean, last year we were in the same situation. Game 6, Blake Snell absolutely dealing against the Dodgers, although be it a 1-0 game, so it's not the same.
Two-two. Strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Fried against no walks, and he's allowed just 3 singles. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
There's the changeup. It was a higher one, but it still fooled Maldonado.
Altuve 1 for 2. Watches that drop right into the strike zone at 72 miles per hour, strike 1. Altuve does have the 5 home runs this postseason. Came into this game hitting .206 in the postseason, hitting .240 this series now. And I don't care how good the rest of the lineup is when Yordan Alvarez is 1 for 18. Bregman's 2 for 20. Altuve's not getting a lot of hits. It's hard to score runs.
Outside.
Ball one. Correa is single tonight. He's just 6 for 21. Here's the 1-2.
Outside.
That's the beauty of video. I'm sure the Braves spent a ton of time watching the electric series that some of these guys had before against the Boston Red Sox and vice versa, and you start creating a game plan for certain guys. When they're that hot, you have to circle them. You have to say, this guy can't beat us under any circumstance. Rather walk him.
That's inside.
Full count. This crowd that's been so electric and so great here in Houston, looking for anything to get excited about. Foul.
See, what Max Fried is doing is what you would have to do in a regular season game to get through the lineup 3 times. He's varying his usage. He didn't have any changeups the first time through the lineup, and then he's thrown a lot more, 21% changeups the second time. He's varied his 4-seam fastball with his sinker.
And he gets Altuve on a pop-up. Swanson has out number 2. Saturday, C.J. Stroud leads number 5 Ohio State's electrifying offensive attack against Nebraska in the Big Noon Saturday game of the week. It all starts with a Big Noon kickoff pregame show at 10 Eastern. And then it's Ohio State, Nebraska, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
That was a 3-2 changeup in a 6-0 game. That's pitching, and he knew that if he threw it anywhere close to the plate, that Altuve was looking to pull the fastball and pops up the changeup.
Here's Brantley. Go! Brantley 0 for 2. Reached on the error in the first inning. Remember, this game started with an infield hit by Altuve, and then Brantley hit a ball to the right side of the infield, and it was Brantley stepping on the right ankle of Max Fried. He was safe at first, and you wondered if Fried was going to be okay to continue. Well, since then, he's allowed 2 singles, both erased on double plays, and that's it. And he struck out 5. Here's the 0-1.
Oh, you okay,
Strike 2. And Mike Molinsky, the home plate umpire.
Got me with the bat, got me in the hand.
We're good. Got hit. Here's that first inning. After the Astros put 2 on, a strikeout of Correa, this little ground ball by Alvarez, and then just absolute heat to strike out Gurriel.
And after the first inning, Joe, he got reconnected with his release point. He was a little bit juiced up and certainly amped up. And he was throwing hard, but probably missing location more than he should have. And he hasn't really missed location much. Once he got the touch of the changeup, you see the curveball comes into play, and that slider. He's got everything working the way you would want in an elimination game.
That's up the middle. Diving stop. And safe. What a play by Swanson. Now how he even made it close. I mean, that was sensational.
That was unbelievable. And Albies had to get down because he was going to throw right over him. He gets to the ball and you think, no chance. But the way he transfers and throws, right on the money, basically. Unbelievable.
All right, crowd wants to see Correa do something. Could be the last game they see him in an Astros uniform, free agent to be. One of these big high-dollar players is going to get left out. You know, I mean, you think there's not money to go around with Semien and Correa and Story and Baez and Seager.
It's going to be very interesting to see who goes first. Might have an advantage.
1 ball, 1 strike.
See, this is where I know Correa is looking to drive the ball and obviously hit a 2-run homer, but if he could pick a pitch out to just kind of slap it through second base hole and pass the baton on. I know, especially with 2 strikes, he could do that, but he's looking for one middle in that he could pull with power and put 2 on the board.
Two balls and a strike with Big Yordan Alvarez next. Now, if he bats in this inning, Max Fried has some stress.
There he did.
Chased it. 2-2.
I don't know how many exactly, but that's about 10 to 12 pitches on that side of the plate to right-handers. And that's 10 more than he threw in game 2.
Brian Snitker had a great quote about Fried after that game in the press conference. He said, you know, I'm having a real hard time trying to believe that Max Fried had a bad outing.
Yeah.
He just had a couple of rough patches. Tonight, in charge. Runner will go. 3-2 pitch. Correa. Yep. That gets away. Down to first. Correa. The throw. Got it. What a play by d'Arnaud. And that ends the inning. And d'Arnaud had to work to get that final out. This stays 6-0. 7th inning rolls in. Back after this from your local Fox station. It looks like Max Fried is finished for the night. 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. And just a brilliant effort here tonight.
Yeah, it really all started in the first inning. I mean, those things, so many things that could have gone wrong after the bad memory he's had in the last 2 starts, and it didn't start off great.
Ryan Stanek takes over, and this one's down the right field line. It is foul off the bat of Rosario, and he nearly hit the foul pole. Strike 1. Rosario making a bid for his 4th home run this postseason. Five for 20 in this World Series, but he has reached in this ball game. 31st time he's reached this postseason. He walked and scored back in the 3rd. 1 ball, 1 strike from Ryan Stanek. He takes over from Phil Maton. Strike 2. With all these extra rounds of the playoffs, start looking at some of the records, and now Eddie Rosario has reached more times than any Brave in a single postseason all time. 31 times. Came in tied with Chipper Jones, who got on 30 times back in '99. Which followed him getting on 29 times in '96 and 29 times in '95. Two and 2 on Rosario. Stanek and Maton have been outstanding out of the bullpen for Houston all postseason, as this one is fouled to keep it 2-2. Another from Stanek. struck him out. One down in the 7th. Last week, the nation tripled Fox Bet Super Six's Stack the Cash jackpot, and 5 lucky winners split over $313,000. Download the free-to-play Super Six app now for your chance to win and make the jackpot even bigger this week. Here's Soler. Right now, if it stays as is, you could be looking at the World Series MVP right here.
Very well could be. I mean, it's evenly matched as far as no real. They've kind of contributed in a lot of different ways, right? The team has, and the relievers have been huge for the Braves. But I felt coming into this game, winning the first 3 innings, the Braves did that. The Astros were going to throw a ton of pitchers at them. They've done that. But the formula for Brian Snitker was going to be, if he could use 4 pitchers or less, that was going to be a pretty good thing. And that's the way it looks right now with the 7th, 8th, and 9th coming up for the Atlanta Braves bullpen.
Tyler Matzek getting loose. That skips in for ball 1. Soler with 3 go-ahead home runs. In a series where the Braves have dominated the home run category. 71% of their runs in this World Series have come via the home run ball. That would be the highest percentage by any National League team in World Series history. 5 of their 6 tonight. 3-run shot by Soler and the 2-run homer by Swanson. The Astros still sitting on 2 solo home runs by Jose Altuve.
And that's the amazing part, because the Astros have a lot of thunder in their lineup.
Another 1-2 pitch to Jorge Soler. Oh! 2-2.
For a guy who's been a big free swinger, and he was struggling a little bit in Kansas City, he's come over here. He's done a great job really staying away from 2-strike big swings, although he got the biggest 2-strike swing of the night.
Against the starter Luis Garcia, pitching on short rest. Here's a 2-2. Hard hit and diving stop. Bregman gets up, throws, and got him. What a play by Bregman, still playing defense, down by 6. Can't do it any better than that.
Wow. I mean, you're right about that. There's not going to be a better play you see.
Freddie Freeman now.
You wonder what's going through Freddie's mind. I mean, getting close, right? Been through this organization through the lean years when they wouldn't winning, stuck it out. And then they started winning. He's a big part of it. And of course, well documented in this year. He too is playing, possibly, on the last year of his contract.
One pitch. Flies into left center field. Well hit back at the wall. It is gone. A home run for Freddie Freeman. How about that? In what might be his last at bat for the Atlanta Braves, he's just made it 7-0 with a shot into left center field here in the 7th of Game 6.
Stays inside the ball so good, and just that's a right-handed home run that was just hit by a left-hander. And what I mean by that, see how the ball spins in the middle of the plate. He hits it to left center, but the way that ball goes out, that's a right-hander hits that ball.
He's unbelievable. And now Riley fouls one out of play. He's just everything you want. He's a leader. He plays hurt. He's got power. He hits for average. Plays the heck out of first base. He's a good base runner. I just don't know any team that wouldn't want Freddie Freeman.
That's why he's going to probably stay with his current team. But he ain't thinking about that right now.
Nope. You can leave that to people like us to talk about, or me to talk about. Right now, he's thinking about the long road it's taken to get to a chance to win a World Series in an Atlanta Braves uniform. I mean, just phenomenal. He's got an RBI double and a home run. His family here watching him in Game 6. The next. Wow, what a rip by Austin Riley, who had a big regular season. He started slowly, ended up hitting .303, 33 home runs, 107 RBI.
I mean, I've said this before. Every player wants to feel like they've checked into the league, meaning they know they belong. And they know they're going to be penciled in every day. It's like going to the next level in your mind. And Austin Riley did that this year. Doesn't matter what happens next year if he starts out slow or not. He knows what he's capable of. And that is so huge for a player that was bounced around, thrown in the left field, started off on fire when he got to the big leagues. And he experienced some humility. And he learned how to work with guys like Chipper Jones in spring training. And that's huge. And it's huge for this organization. Any organization that has a player do what he did, they know they got a good one for a while.
The ball and 2 strikes from Stanek. Riley, 24 years old. 2-2.
Because the hardest part about this game, Joe, is everyone tells you what you're supposed to do, what you're capable of. We have numbers on projections and all these different phenoms. And until you do it yourself and prove it, there's nothing anyone else can tell you. And each player has to deal with the chance of failure every day. Failing 7 out of 10 times, you're considered a great hitter. And he went through it this year and persevered and came out on the other end.
2-2 pitch, fouled back.
The Astros have a similar player in the fact that not a lot of people knew about Kyle Tucker coming into this year. Well, everybody knows about him now, and he'll be penciled in every single day for the Astros for some time to come.
Boy, he is just up there wheeling on these pitches by Stanek and spraying souvenirs around the park. 7 pitches this at bat, and the count stays 2-2.
Stanek relies on fastballs like that and splits, so the vertical drop is what he's trying to get hitters to swing at. Doesn't really throw a pitch that goes away from right-handers too often, and of course that's what everyone's trying to get Austin Riley on. You leave a split middle in to this guy and he'll do what Soler did over the tracks.
That's another foul out of play. Got him looking. 6 of the 7 runs tonight via the home run ball. And Freddie Freeman goes deep. Charlie Freeman loves it. The dugout loves it. Get your game on at MLBshop.com. Authentic on-field caps, tees, hoodies, and more. Get all your World Series Braves and Astros gear and wear what the champs wear at the official source, MLBshop.com. Yordan Alvarez takes on a pitcher not named Max Fried. As a big left-hander, Tyler Matzek takes over, and he has been lights out this postseason.
Man, I'll tell you what. You dream to have these kind of runs as a pitcher. He's on it.
Alvarez, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a kind of run that you could say to hitters, here's my fastball, go ahead, try. And he's had that kind of fastball with a great slider to boot.
Alvarez 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 18 in this World Series. And for as on as he was against the Red Sox, he is off against the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, hard to believe, but really a better strategy for the Braves. And I just think, you know, the whole National League style when they went over there, it did affect the Astros in their placement of their hitters, and they just didn't pitch to some of them. The Braves didn't.
Lined into left, a base hit. And for Alvarez, his first hit since game 1.
And for Matzek, a mistake. That ball's down. That gives Alvarez a chance to get to it. If it's up, he can't get to it. Good hitting by Alvarez. Just a little bad location. You want the ball up, and then see how you had to pull the ball down, or the glove down.
It brings in Gurriel. .74 pitches for Max Fried. That was it. 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. I don't care who comes out of that bullpen, they can't do much better than that.
No, exactly. And if you're the Astros, you're like, okay, I know this guy's nasty too, but what if he doesn't have it? So you take your chances getting the pitcher who had the rhythm going out of the game. You feel like you got a chance to crack the scoreboard. Matzek's trying to prove otherwise.
Gurriel hits it in the air to right. Peterson back in front of the track, 1 on, 1 out. If you want to go back to 95. The last time the Braves won it, and the only time the Atlanta Braves have won it, Tom Glavine threw 109 pitches in the Game 6 start. 8 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a 1-0 win on a David Justice home run.
And in fairness, that game was one of the greatest games ever pitched because it was only 1-0, and the Cleveland Indians had an offense similar, probably a little bit better. You could make the argument they're a little bit better than Houston. Max matched it, but had a nice cushion to be able to pitch 6 innings.
Now,
but Glavine's performance will go down forever as one of the greatest in a clinching game, Game 6.
And prevented somebody from starting Game 7.
Yeah, that would have been the 4th one. Can't even imagine that.
0-1 the count. The second name on that list would have started Game 7. That is fine. It's Kenny Rosenthal, right? He was. No, it was you.
I tell you, you know, you have those mixed emotions if you're Ian Anderson. Well, right out of the gate, his emotions were relieved, knowing he really doesn't want to pitch a Game 7. So he kind of prepares mentally to watch the game. But seeing the score frees him up. I didn't have that luxury. It was 1-0. And I was really hoping I didn't pitch Game 7 because that meant we won the World Series. But my stomach was in knots for 2.5 to 3 hours.
0-2, the count on Kyle Tucker. Runner at first. They play behind Alvarez with Freeman. 0-2. 100 miles per hour for ball one. Matzek has had 2 days off.
He's a little juiced up.
Didn't work in Game 5, and then yesterday was the travel day, so he is ready to roll. 1-2 pitch. Tucker lines one into right and caught.
Oh, wow.
As Jock Peterson sticks the landing. 2 out.
He didn't even create a divot. He was coming in. That ball was chasing him. Probably had some hook coming in, and he just sticks his knee in the ground, and it's stuck a little bit.
Jock trying to win rings in back-to-back years.
Not a bad divot. You can hit out of that.
Pearls remained intact. 2 out. Bregman takes a strike. Jock Peterson won it all with the Dodgers last year, and here he is with the Atlanta Braves after that trade mid-July from the Cubs. 0-1 to Bregman from Matzek on its way. Taking ball, and Bregman was at its mercy. Strike 2. Bregman right on top of the plate, waits for the 0-2 from Matzek. A strikeout ends the 7th. And no problem for the lefty getting around the leadoff hit by Alvarez. 8th inning in Houston. Braves bat up 7. Performance has a new MVP in this year's World Series MVP. We'll get to drive it. Introducing the all-new 2023 Corvette Z06.
Wow.
Here's a fly ball into right center field against Presley, and caught.
Oh, wow.
As Tucker and Seri collide. Duvall flies out to start the 8th inning, and thankfully everybody's okay.
Now this is an unplayable divot. That could have got ugly. I mean, he came in, and they're lucky they're both staying in the game. Man, oh man.
And really no collision at all. Hard to believe. Maybe just a little glancing touch, and that's it. As Duvall flies out to Tucker, who just made a great play. Ryan Presley, the closer, trying to keep it 7-0. A check swing by Peterson, ball 1.
We all know guys in the golf industry that actually take divots like that. It's not good.
No, not good. And there it is. 1-0 pitch with 1 out. Peterson takes the ball. 2-0. Jock not really in on the fun hitting in this World Series. 1 for 14, 0 for 3 tonight. But I'm sure believing he's on the right side of it again. after his Dodgers beat the Rays last year. Here's a 2-0 from Presley. Right at Gurriel. 2 out. And the batter will be Albies, and we'll give you a quick word from MasterCard.
You can plant a tree here by donating from here for a chance to win a trip to next year's MLB All-Star Game. Rooting for our planet is priceless.
2 out for Albies, who has moved to the number 7 spot, and he's been on base 3 times.
He's been awesome, and he came into this game struggling big time. And just that move and just the resetting of just not swinging at every pitch when he started this game really helped him out.
Breaking ball for a strike from Presley, who also has had 2 days off. Went the final inning in 2/3 in Atlanta in Game 4. Strike 2. Astros will have 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Siri, Maldonado, and Altuve. They need to get their bench involved, as Dusty Baker will throw everything he's got. And his time is running out. 0-2 on Albies. Scott to center for Siri. And a 1-2-3 eighth for Presley. Bottom of the 8th inning in Game 6. 7-0. Tyler Matzek back for more work. Got around a leadoff hit last inning and deals with Aledmys Diaz off the bench, batting for Houston. Good pitch for a strike. Duvall moves from center to right, and now into the ball game, Guillermo Heredia in center. It's Diaz up now, and it's Marwin Gonzalez on deck. Siri lifted for the pinch hitter, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Siri 0 for 2 in this game, 1 for 6 in the World Series, and Maldonado is finished, it appears, with Marwin Gonzalez ready to bat for him next. Here is a 1-1 from Matzek. Strike 2.
Well, I talked about Matzek's fastball and how electric it was. But check this out. On his sliders, they're 1 for 19 with 12 Ks. That's an 0.53 batting average on sliders. So it's his fastball that sets it up, but it's his slider, it's the kill pitch. So tight after seeing 97, and you think you're getting a fastball and the ball disappears.
Here's the 1-2. You know, the story is just so great. Tyler Matzek, 31 years old, number 11 overall pick for Colorado in 09. At 25 years old, ran into trouble in 2015, was out of baseball in 2017, had anxiety, had the yips by his own description. Had to go to independent baseball, work his way back up. The winner in Game 6 of the NLCS, the clincher, and now trying to get big outs here in Game 6 of the World Series, and he's got 4 of them. And Diaz thought it was up. He's the first out here in the 8th. Matzek is on his way, it appears, to being a world champion after all that. Marwin Gonzalez will bat for Maldonado. Got the go-ahead RBIs with a 2-run single, pinch hitting in the 5th inning of Game 5 on Halloween. Cut loose by the Boston Red Sox, picked back up by the Houston Astros. Spent some time in Minnesota after leaving Houston, takes ball 1 in the dirt. Luke Jackson getting ready.
Oh, no.
2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Gonzalez here in the 8th.
That's inside.
96 and inside, 3-0. Here he comes from Matzik. 3-1.
Now.
On 3-1. Full count.
That's getting close.
This Astros team in the World Series for the 3rd time in the last 5 years. They won it in 2017. Lost to the Nationals in this ballpark in 2019. And trail here in the game and in the World Series to Atlanta. Three-2 delivery on its way, and he struck him out. Two out. I think Ozzie Albies is loose and having any fun. He found the dirt can. That was between innings. He's got so much personality, and a young switch-hitting second baseman. There's the camera. Who hit 30 home runs and knocked in 106. Also stole 20 bases. A big part of why the Atlanta Braves are marching toward a championship as Altuve is fooled. Strike one. Jimmy Garcia getting loose for Houston. Here is the 0-1 pitch.
Well, someone's going to win that Corvette. Don't know who it is. That Corvette's got a ton of horsepower. And this offense for the Astros had that same kind of horsepower. And you got to credit the Atlanta Braves for shutting it down and really pitching to a team that is as deep an offense as you'll get.
96 by the bat of Altuve. Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach. What a job he's done.
He sure has.
In constant motion down in that dugout for Atlanta. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Got him looking, and he struck out the side. Dominant. Max Fried, Tyler Matzik, 8 innings of Game 6 in the books. 7-0 Atlanta. Well, back at Truist Park, where they are packed in with their team on the road here for Game 6. Outside in the Battery, as they call it. Fans are going crazy back in Atlanta, as they are now 3 defensive outs away from their second championship since the franchise moved to Atlanta in 1966. As Travis d'Arnaud takes on Yimi Garcia and pops it up. Stubbs is now the catcher, and Garrett watches that go 1 or 2 rows back. First time we've seen Garrett Stubbs in this World Series. Took over for Jason Castro, who's on the COVID list. Diaz in the game in left, Tucker now in center, and Brantley goes to right. Garcia misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tenth game of this postseason for Garcia. The 1-1. That'll play for Tucker. 1 down. We flash back to the final out in Game 6 of '95. Baerga flies one into left. There's Ron Gant. And this franchise that dates back to the 1870s. There's Bobby Cox. They won 1 championship in Boston, 1 in Milwaukee. They're only 1 to this point in Atlanta. Led by Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz and Avery on the mound that year. And the offense provided by Justice and Chipper Jones and Lopez and McGriff and Klesko. Now, I mean, year after year, you guys were in the postseason. 14 consecutive division titles and just the 1 championship, which I know you get tired of hearing.
Yeah, but you know what? The difference is we were supposed to win in '95. This team, if you asked anybody in baseball in August if this team had a chance to win the World Series, I don't think anybody would have said yes. So it is a bigger surprise. Even though they were predicted to be very good and win the division before spring training, so much led into them not getting the right formula and the injuries. So it is a lot different feeling. That's why you're seeing the stadium packed where there's no game. The Battery packed. Like, the feeling in Atlanta for this team is so much different than the team in '95. It was the monkey off our back. I mean, we had to win. This team now has shown what you can do when you pull together and get hot at the right time.
Here's a line drive caught by Correa. Swanson, who is homered tonight, is out number 2. And now a quick word from Evan Williams, Bourbon.
Get ready for the next pitch with Evan Williams, Bourbon done right.
With 2 out, nobody on. A strike is into Eddie Rosario. You and I were watching that replay of the final out. Here comes the 0-1 pitch with 2 out, nobody on during the break. And I said, was that Gant? He said, yeah, that was Grissom that made that catch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what was I thinking? I got caught up in who was Grissom.
I mean, you were there.
I was there.
Will Smith is getting ready
attention.
to take over. Atlanta 3 outs away from a championship. And now here we are in 2021. And the Braves bring in their closer, Will Smith, to try to get the final 3 outs and make it official. Look at his numbers, 6 for 6 in save chances. This isn't one of them. You know, he's so happy to be on the mound as he throws it over the head of Michael Brantley, ball 1.
Yeah, he's been awesome. You saw the numbers there, just not giving up many hits, pitching a lot of tight games too. And when you can win those 1-run games, boy, that goes a long way for your confidence and the team, of course, moving on in the playoffs like they have under him as the closer.
The Astros led baseball with 5.3 runs per game in the regular season, but the Braves pitching in this World Series made them sputter. Outbursts in a couple of the games, but that was it.
Yeah, it really has been amazing to watch. You know, maybe not your prototypical World Series where you have starter against starter going 6 or 7 innings. A lot of matchups. And really, I stick with my formula. You get a couple guys, and in this case, 3 hot guys in your bullpen. You can do some stuff and shorten the game. You get a couple hot starters and a couple hot batters in the lineup. You got yourself a chance that can win it, and that's really what the Braves were able to do.
Brantley 1 for 3 on the night. Braves fans in attendance starting to take over a little bit, and the Astros fans don't like it. The organist helps drown it out. These fans in this ballpark, the fans back in Atlanta, have been so great and provided such a great bed of sound underneath all these plays during the World Series. It's been thrilling to watch and call. Outside. That's outside, a full count. Three-two. That's a base hit by Brantley, and he's on to start the 9th. You know, when you go over the fact that the Astros are in the World Series for the 3rd time over the last 5 years, you see that first year, 2017, and we know what was going on back then. Nobody around here denies it. The sign stealing, the scandal, the cheating, but they're past that. And now here they are back in the World Series when their owner, Jim Crane, asked Buck Showalter about who should manage this team after A.J. Hinch was fired. He said there's only one guy that should manage that team, and it's him. Yeah. Dusty Baker.
Did an incredible job. Look, it is, they earned their way into this season. Long season after the shortened season last year, losing in 7 to the Rays.
Correa in what could be his final at bat. And the Houston Astros, the #1 overall pick by Houston, and helped get them turned around, starting back when he was selected in 2012.
Exactly, and they knew they were going to hear it and wear it. And last year was probably a break a little bit because not many fans were allowed to come. So they knew they were going to hear it everywhere they went. And they played with a chip on their shoulder, and they knocked off 2 pretty good teams to get to the World Series. And I don't think anybody feels like this wasn't their year to prove people they're still a really good team.
0-2 pitch is down. Last year in the COVID shortened year, the Astros finished 29-31. They beat Minnesota, beat Oakland, and forced 7 games against Tampa Bay under Dusty Baker. And now here they are in 2021, 5 games better than the Mariners in the AL West, and back in the World Series. Here's one into right center field. Going to get it is Duvall. 1 on, 1 out. And the Braves are 2 outs away. Dusty Baker at 72 years old, the 2nd oldest to lead a team to the World Series. Jack McKeon, 200 days older. Trader Jack turns 91 later this November. But what a job for Dusty Baker. But the rest of this 9th inning is going to belong to us talking about this Atlanta Braves team.
Yeah.
And Brian Snitker and his staff and this team that dealt with so much. Here's Alvarez. Strike 1. 88 wins during the regular season, and the Braves say to that, so what? No Acuna, no Soroka, no Ozuna. They lost Charlie Morton with a broken leg in Game 1 of this World Series, and they just never blinked.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of teams that are going to talk about the injuries they had during the year. and what they weren't able to overcome. The Braves overcame those injuries with the addition of certain guys that now became huge contributors to what looks like a world championship.
0-1 pitch. Alvarez takes a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex Anthopoulos and the job that he's done in his 4th year running the show with the Braves. Spent 6 years prior to that in Toronto. Tremendous work in the month of July. It's all paid off here in October and into early November.
You know, again, just to echo one more time, we have analytic numbers for everything, and there's a lot of good numbers that kind of tell you the story. The Braves had the it factor working for them, and that's inside the clubhouse. That's leadership. That's players. Houston had it as well, but it is pretty incredible.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Alvarez takes down from Smith. 2-2. You know, there is a former manager of the Atlanta Braves that's watching every pitch of this. Very proud of Brian Snitker and his former organization, talking about the great Bobby Cox.
Yeah, wish him the best. He's been battling, but you know he watches every game. Brian got to see him before he came out here.
Outside.
He doesn't miss a game. And Brian will get a chance to show him one more trophy.
Meanwhile, his son Troy is on the other side. Troy Snitker, one of the hitting coaches for the Houston Astros, watching his dad guide the Atlanta Braves to within 1 out of a championship. 2 down here in the 9th inning, and the Astros are down to their final out. And it has got to be hitting Brian Snitker, if it hasn't already, that he's about to be a world champion manager.
Yeah, he's trying not to, right? That's been his kind of pose and demeanor all through the playoffs. And he'll crack a pretty big smile when this next out is made.
Here it is, a strike to Yuli Gurriel. Hitless tonight. Smith trying to nail it down. Here he comes. Strike 2. Smith. The 0-2. Left side, Swanson to first. The Braves are world champions.